Hey, yo, what's up? And welcome back to an all new episode of the Journey Pod. I'm Brandon. That's Bree.
I'm here.
And we're back. Second video episode.
Mm-hmm.
And thanks for all those who checked out the first video on the YouTube. I had it wrong on the last episode. It's youtube.com/CCUNBC Media. So thank you for all those who checked it out. We got a little bit of feedback.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Minister Blake from CCU. I was talking to him on the phone about something, and he brought up the podcast. He said, I was checking it out. You guys look good. You guys sounded good. I was like, well, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, shout out to Minister Blake again. Thanks for checking it out. We appreciate you watching, and thanks for the good feedback.
Mm-hmm.
We're welcome and open to any and all feedback. It just helps us make this little thing better that we're trying to do here. So
Yes.
leave a comment, whatever, and let us know what you think. And another piece of feedback we got one comment on the video, and it was none other than our the third party of this podcast. That'd be Tanya Hayes. She commented something about Tanya rants ...
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's what we're calling them. She also said, yeah, let's talk about TD Jakes and all the foolishness. And I know you didn't want to talk about it,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's important.
Why?
Obviously, she does too. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because it got me thinking, it's more and it's deeper than just terrible memes that people are sharing about something that is probably false.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot speak on the truthness of that. I would assume that it's probably false. Obviously, it's just some stupid joke that somebody started, and then all these memes start going. By the way, it's been a couple of weeks, and I haven't seen anything about it.
Yeah, I think
it's gone away.
the only thing heard something about it like around Christmas, right? Wasn't it around Christmas?
I'm not sure when.
I think it was around
It's been
Christmas.
a while. It's been
But
long
I
enough,
think,
it's gone.
I remember it only lasting for like a day or two, and then it was done.
It was a while.
I don't remember it being a while.
I've seen the memes on there for about a week. But
Oh,
either way,
okay. Well,
my point is that it's been a while.
Mhm.
It's been long enough, and you don't see anything else about it.
right.
And either he's got a really good PR team, which
Yeah.
I'm sure he's got somebody, at least one person doing PR for him,
Right.
or it's just not true. That's,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you see something online like that is an accusation, even though they're presenting it as like a joke and they're trying to put funny memes out, which a lot of them aren't even that funny. If nothing else comes of it, and it just goes away, either, like I said, either A, they got a really good PR team and people are good at making stuff disappear online,
Right.
or it's not true. It doesn't hold any factual value, and eventually, once it gets
just move
old,
on.
once it gets old enough, people just move on from it. Even if it is true, sometimes people will just get tired enough of it. All right, we get it, and then it goes away.
Yeah.
But it also got me thinking, like, that is exactly how the enemy tries to get you.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah.
Even somebody at the stature of Bishop T.D. Jakes,
Right.
this huge following online,
Right.
this huge television ministry,
Mhm.
this huge church, multiple campuses, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not a follower of his ministries.
Yes, he does.
Even somebody at that stature, they're not safe from attack either. Just because somebody is clergy or a preacher, that doesn't make them invincible from an attack from the enemy.
It
It
doesn't.
doesn't make them invincible from an attack from the devil.
Right.
He is up and scheming all the time.
Right.
And that's why I think it's important to at least like mention of it in some aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. Because it just shows it not only are we open season for, the Satan's plotting and scheming, but so is a preacher.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's why it's so much more important to cover your pastor, cover your bishop, to cover your clergy, whoever your minister is, in prayer, because they are bringing the word and you don't want that word wrapped up in if the devil is scheming something and or you know whatever working within them, you don't want that word that's coming out of them. You want that to be, you know, from the Lord.
From
you want that.
God.
You want them to be ordained and you want them to be blessed to be able
Right.
to give that word and clear minded.
Right.
If they're distracted by something that's going on because
Right.
the devil is plotting and scheming,
Right.
you know what I mean? Who does that help?
Nobody.
So,
Right.
not to say that he's distracted or it's bothering him or anything like that. Like I said, I don't even follow his ministries. Who knows if he even brought it up in service? I doubt that he did.
No,
I doubt that he would.
Well, I didn't watch it, but he had made a comment like, "If you're here to get my response, go ahead and log off."
Nah.
And that was
See?
as soon as he stood up, and he just moved on with the church.
So
That's
he
what
kn-
I heard. So
It's even more crazy that he knows
yeah,
because it's wild what
It's
they were
wild.
saying.
but
It's wild.
It's completely wild. That's one of the reasons why I was just like, what is the point of even bringing up the situation? We know it's not true, and it's like, to me, what am I trying to say? It's like, why would you even try to attack somebody who is like somebody like that? Like what in the world is just so evil right now to even
Yeah.
twist his words?
People don't care.
It's just crazy to me.
People don't
It's
care.
crazy.
Yeah,
Can
I
you-
mean, I don't really even know the full extent of the story.
No.
It doesn't matter.
Now, can you imagine how
But-
many people was on his online service for that one day though? Little did they know, they probably
Maybe.
stayed. Maybe some of them stayed and listened to the entire sermon and seed was planted.
That's what you pray for.
Hopefully,
That's what you pray for.
You know, people went on there in intentions to hear him talk about nonsense and ended up
Yeah.
hearing the word.
So this
Hopefully to happen.
this stuck out to me. The
You want to move
no,
this?
no, leave it.
Okay.
It's fine.
Mr. Talking.
Listen, Ephesians 6:11. This stuck out to me.
Mhm.
Put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Therefore, put on the full armor of God so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground, and after you have done everything to stand firm. And then with the belt of truth buckled around your waist, with the breastplate of righteousness in place, and with your feet fitted with the readiness that comes from the gospel of peace.
Wow.
And yeah, I think that's just for me thinking about, you know, just trying to come full circle with all the nonsense that was going on with him online. You know, it's just a reminder, you know what I mean, that trouble is right around the corner. You know, evil is there waiting, plotting,
Stay prayed up and
waiting to pounce. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And yeah, it's just stay firm in the word, firm in your belief, don't waver. Pretty much.
Because that's what he didn't do. He was like, I'm not even entertaining this. You're here for that.
Right.
Go ahead and log off, you know?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, you've seen there's been plenty of times that I've seen people try to come after, you know, Bishop Hargrove.
Mm-hmm.
You know, our bishop, my grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, like I said, preachers and clergy, they're no exception.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you know, the tricksters try to get fancy
Yeah.
and try to get cutesy, and
Mhm.
you know, just gotta
They learn the hard way. Don't come for God's people,
yeah,
you know?
absolutely. So yeah, that again, that's why I wanted to bring it up, just for that, not to talk gossip about it, which I think you probably thought.
That's why I did think that. Because,
No,
yeah,
no. I think, you know, there's a more important meaning behind it for sure.
most definitely.
So, yeah. Another thing that well, I was thinking about it earlier today. That kind of popped up in my mind. that kind of I guess kind of goes along with that, but it's one thing that I've been having trouble with is trying to decipher, and I've had a trouble with this for a long time, especially lately with all the big decisions and things that we've made recently, is how to decipher when it's the Lord talking to you, how to decipher when it's a roadblock from the enemy. I have such a hard time with that. And I'm not sure how to decipher the two most of the time.
Right.
You know,
or is it just self putting? Is it yourself getting in the way of what you're trying to do, or
self-doubt.
fear?
But then I feel like, where does that come from? Where does the self-doubt come from? Is it just me?
Or is it the Lord giving you
is
intuition?
He giving me that self-doubt, right? Or is it the enemy that's trying to get in my head? I can't.
I think that's why it's so important to like really, really sit and pray.
I can't.
And listen.
I'm sorry. Listen, I'm sorry. I'm keeping it real with you. I can't do it with that answer.
You mean like you can't sit still
just
and
pray.
listen?
No,
I'm not saying just pray. Like, it's never that easy to just pray. Like, every time that I've been in a situation where I'm not certain about a decision that we're going to make for our family or something I have to do, I tell you this all the time. I literally say, Lord, open the door that needs to be open and close the door that needs to be closed, and make it plain, make it simple. I don't want to have to decipher a sign that you send from wherever. Like, I want you to say yay or nay. And literally, just like that, like, something falls through, or the money comes out of nowhere, or something like that happens. Like, just,
I guess if things are working according to your plan, then it's probably going your way.
Then it's probably going the way that the Lord wants you to do it. But don't just, it's like the story that I think your grandfather told the story before about the man who was in the flood, and he prayed to God to come save him. And while he was, out there in the ocean or wherever drowning, the Lord sent him someone on a boat. And he's like, come on, get in my boat, da-da-da-da. And he's like, no, I'm waiting for the Lord to come save me. And then he sent someone else, and then he still stayed, and then he ended up drowning and dying, going to heaven. He's like, well, I sent you 2 boats. It's like that. So I said all that to say, like, put in the work, and, put in the work for that thing to happen. But if it falls through, then from there, like, what the Lord wants you to do and what he doesn't want you to do. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, but
don't just sit and say, Lord, if you want this to happen, then let it happen, and not do anything.
No. It's not that I do that. It's just, I'm gonna do, and I don't want to say I'm gonna do what I want to do, but I'm gonna do what I feel is right.
Okay.
My question, my thing is, I guess, my dilemma, whatever, is what I am doing. Is that
it correct? Is it the right?
Right, because
move?
I'm doing it either way.
Do you have any doubts at all when you're doing these things?
Some of these things could come with doubt. Some big life decisions could come with negatives,
right?
But do the positives outweigh the negatives?
Yes or no?
Sure.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that it's the right thing to do, though. Well, then you need
to reevaluate.
That doesn't mean it's the right thing to do, and that's my point.
If it's something that is going to impact you more negatively than positively, then you know the answer to what you're asking. You already know it. You're just trying to ignore the answer the Lord's giving to you. That's like women being in relationships with men who they knowing right, and it's like, Lord, just I pray that you fix him, and da-da-da-da, and he'd mess up again. He's like, oh, well, that was a mistake, and Lord, I know that he'll do better. And it's like, girl, I didn't showed you.
You talking about your friends?
No, I'm not my friends. None of my friends have men that treat them bad. All my friends have healthy relationships.
They used to.
They used to, but they're now in healthy, stable
Okay.
relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So
Yeah.
that's like you see the negatives. They outweigh the positives.
Sure.
Correct. Pray over it.
Then what? You know what I mean? That's what I'm not trying to be smart. I'm just
No,
saying.
wait and see what the Lord does. You never know.
Mm,
For example, the move we made,
I have a hard time waiting.
you
Go
do have
ahead.
a hard time waiting. You just want things to happen like now. I want it.
I know because I can do them now.
This is a thought I have
If I
right
can
now.
do it now.
Let me achieve it right now. And it life does not happen that way.
Yeah, it does.
It does not.
Sure does.
It doesn't.
In my world, it does.
Does it? It does not work that way. It does not. You have to have patience for things, because sometimes you're fighting to get something sooner than it is supposed to be in your life, and then when it's there too soon, you're not ready for it, so then you ruin it.
Sure.
The Lord's trying to give you things in His timing, and you're trying to get it in your timing. And now you didn't mess the whole blessing up because you couldn't be patient. And He couldn't finish it for you to make it perfect for you.
But how do I know when the Lord's timing is? That's my question. That's my whole thing with this. How do I know?
Prayer,
When-
scripture, listening,
I'm stubborn.
following your instincts, your gut feeling, all of those things is God talking to you.
I have to keep that in mind. I'm being serious.
You're not going to
I
keep it in mind.
I will. It's just something that I've had a hard time with for a long time.
That's the
trying
first
to
time you've
decipher,
ever. Yeah.
What is what? Who is who?
Who is who? What is what? Is this me? Is this the ambition that you've given to me, Lord, to keep pushing, to fight for what I want? Or am I doing too much? Is that what you're fighting with right now? Like, is it me trying to fight for something for me? Or is it you pushing me to fight for it? Does that make sense?
Maybe.
Maybe. It's like, is it God giving you the strength to go to work and to work these extra hours because He's pushing you to achieve this new level of and goal and venture that you want? Or is it you pushing something for you and it's not his will?
Right. Yep.
All that. Yep. Yep.
I don't know. We'll work it out with time, I guess.
All I can say is, again, you need to stop and listen sometimes. Just stop.
I'll listen. I'm a good listener.
Not to me. You need to listen to the Lord.
Slander. No.
Slander.
I'm saying no.
Because you don't listen to me.
Okay,
But
there
we're
it
not
is.
going to get there.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
But I'm saying overall I'm a good listener. Let's just stop playing games.
Okay.
We'll continue when she stops lying.
Okay.
This is 2 episodes in a row you've done that.
I've never done anything
Yeah,
like
okay.
that.
Yeah.
But too, you have to also be mindful that sometimes the Lord sends people to tell you things even after He's told it to you, but you ignore it.
Like what?
Like just anything. Like you ever ask God for something? Like I don't know, just anything. You ever ask God for something and then you go to church that Sunday and then the pastor preaches about that one thing that you were asking for or whatever issue that you were going through? Has that ever happened to you?
I'm sure it has.
Yeah, like sometimes God uses people to tell you the things that He wants you to
I mean,
hear.
yeah, sure. No, I get that. I've experienced that before. I've seen that happen before.
Right.
I get that. It's just, it's just the deciphering. That's all. It's just how to tell when it's ordained
Mm.
by God and when something's not on the path for you.
Ask-
Not to make it too far down the wrong path before you realize.
Okay, this
oh,
was not.
Shoot,
This was not for me.
I'm supposed to be down here.
We ain't supposed to be here, Lord. I should. Did you tell me not to go here?
I'm down here on 43rd Street.
And
I'm supposed to be uptown.
there you go. And he done told you 50 million times, and you just still ignoring it. You know?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Open your ears, or ask him to tell you plainly.
Mm-hmm.
He will do it.
I think he is. That's not the problem. It's not that I don't. Like the answers are there.
Are you afraid to hear no?
No. It's not necessarily
Or wait.
that. No, because that has happened before, and that's fine. You know what I mean? I guess it's just I'm expecting for it to be like for me to like find out in advance or know in advance, you know, and it's like no, you know, you'll find out when you get to that point. Either it's gonna work out
or
it's not.
Right.
And I think that's what that's what the it's like, you know, you're not always gonna know in advance what the Lord's answer is gonna be.
No, you sure won't.
And that's what I think that's what where I am. I think I'm expecting to know in advance, or it's, you know, you'll know it with enough time. Sometimes with enough time is not, like you said, the time
right
for it to happen.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
And right when it's time
You're like,
is right on time.
Yeah. And we've
and that's
had,
when you find out.
but we've had that happen a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We've had that happen a lot.
Sure.
Where we think something was gonna fall through, and then the Lord just comes out of nowhere. And he's like, "Boom, here.
Yeah.
You thought I let you fall."
Right. And I do it a lot too, where I look back, and my big thing is, you know, I always say everything happens for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
The Lord has everything in place for a reason, and it's you know, hindsight is 20/20 kind of thing. When I look back over all the decisions, and I've said this on the podcast before too, when you look back over all the decisions that you've made, and you question why this route, why this path, why did I do that, and then it not work out. Sometimes it's not the enemy getting in your way. Sometimes it's just a lesson.
It's a lesson.
Sometimes it's just the Lord's show, or sometimes that's just part of your path. That's where you're supposed to go. You have to go through that in order to get to this. You have to have gone through this problem or this stage or this season in order to be the person that you are today. Had you have not gone through that the way that you did, you wouldn't appreciate where you're at now. Right now.
Yeah.
You know, I think that when I look back over it,
and sometimes too, it's not always, like you were saying, it's not always the enemy putting you through things. Sometimes God allows you to go through those things so that you can look towards him for help, and that he can show you that he can bring you out of those things.
right?
Or he uses those situations to test your faith in him.
Right.
So it's not always the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's God.
Sure.
You know, he's
Sure.
telling you, okay, well, I told you not to do that, so now I'm going to let you go through this so that you can learn, like you said, so that when I bring you to your next, you know, position in life or your next journey in life, you can appreciate where you came from, or
Right.
you can learn from this.
Right.
So,
Right. Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the other half of it too. So,
But Lord, just tell me when you put me through a test so that I can prepare myself.
oh, if only if it were that easy, huh?
Please.
Yeah. So with MLK Day coming up soon,
Mm-hmm.
I figured I'd bring this up.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not gonna say what company,
Okay.
but a certain a rather large company out there,
Mm-hmm.
decided to give its employees off paid holiday time off for Martin Luther King Day, which is a pretty big deal
It is.
for anybody that cares about MLK Day. It is a pretty big deal for a company to not only recognize it as a federal holiday, but then to recognize it as a company holiday
Right.
where they give their employees off with pay. I think that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a big deal for a company that has never done that in the past to now in 2024 make that recognition and get on with the program. You know what I mean?
Correct.
This is where we're at here.
Right.
So this now I am close to this company, and a week before the holiday, a week before MLK Day, this company decided that that the clients that it services, they contacted them, all their customers,
Mm-hmm.
people that they service, and they all said, if you don't service us on MLK Day because we're not shutting down operations, we're going to use a different supplier. We're going to use a different company for our needs.
What?
If you don't come on MLK Day. So this company, this business, decided that because they didn't want to lose out on the potential work, they didn't want to lose out on the money, they I guess got scared enough by the threats of all these customers
Right.
that were gonna give them the boot. They decided that no, all the employees have to work a week before the holiday. No. All the employees, no, you have to come in and work now. You know, the needs of the business, whatever. And I was shocked. And I wound up talking to some of the elders in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just leave it at that. Some of the older people that I have that are close to me, and obviously they are African American, and it makes a difference.
It does.
It makes a difference when you talk about MLK Day. It makes a difference. And they were like, I would tell all those people to call out. Don't go to work. You know what I mean? The company says, oh, well, if you want to have off for the holiday, you can use one of your personal days if you have them. If you don't have a personal day accrued, then you can't take off.
What?
Or I have to use, you know what I mean? You have to use your personal day in order to have off. So you have to sacrifice one of your vacation days, one of your personal days to have off on the holiday that they originally promised
You're gonna get.
you would get off with pay. Right? But now you got to
Right.
work or suffer a personal. And a lot of the people said, yeah, you know, I would call out. I wouldn't go. You know, and then they reminded me of when MLK Day first became a federal holiday and how the schools didn't want to honor it. How a lot of employers didn't want to honor it as a federal holiday. They didn't want to get their employees off. They didn't want to close down business. They didn't want to lose money because of MLK Day. You know, and it's like we've come that far from when it was first announced as a federal holiday. Now we're in 2024, and companies are still,
They
you
still.
know, why? And I get it. It's about the money and all that, but of all the days,
Because they don't do.
Martin Luther
They don't
King
have a
Jr. Day?
fuss over Columbus Day or the 4th of July. So
right? And if they were to do something, if especially a large company were to do something like that on, say, Memorial Day or 4th of July, whatever them days you get off,
right.
then, you know, I think there'd be a little bit more of an uproar.
Oh, most definitely.
Now, a lot of people in this particular company, I don't think cared too much because a lot of them are middle-aged white men.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it matters.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't, you know, Martin Luther King Jr. doesn't hit the same for them as it does for, say, my parents or my grandparents or your parents.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It means a lot more, and it's something I didn't know when I actually was talking to,
My
like-
grandma walked with Martin Luther King.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
It happened within. She just passed last year, 2023. It happened within.
Yeah, 'cause
this
she's
lifetime.
from down there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you know that. So that means something to her.
Yeah.
Meant something to her. I'm sure it still does mean something to, like I said, your parents.
Yeah.
And you know, they and when I was talking to, you know, all the elders in my life, you know, they said, you know, listen, I didn't go to school when I was a kid when they first made it a holiday. And when I got a little bit older and they still weren't trying to recognize it as a holiday and give you off, I didn't go to work. I either took off with enough time in advance or I'd call out that day, but I didn't go. And I'm like, wow, like I never thought about that. I've never had to worry about it just either in the past with personally because either I've had off already, it just worked out.
Yeah.
Or I was, you know, I dedicated 5 years of my life, 6 years of my life full time to emergency services.
Yeah. And
There's no days off.
Right.
So, you know, you have to get that. But I remember never having to worry about needing off or what to do about taking off for MLK Day.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or even if it's that important, it reminded me how important it is. It reminded me how much it does mean.
It means
and that
a
it's
lot
not just
to a
any
lot of
old
people.
other day or holiday.
It's not like just, oh, well, get over it, just go to work. It's not, it's more than that. It's deeper than that, like you said. Definitely.
Yeah, it's more than just a day off or holiday pay or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
It's the principle behind it. It's the principle.
Yeah. And especially for this company, it's definitely the principle. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you say you're gonna get. Now it wasn't a paid off holiday before, so whatever you're gonna do, you're gonna take it personally. You're gonna call out, do what you have to do. But then now you make plans to be off for that day.
Okay. And then now
And for a lot of people, it is just, oh, we had plans to go out to dinner, to vacation, a little time away, extra day on the weekend, whatever. And that's all fine and dandy. That's all great. But the meaning of it, you know what I mean? At least for me, it hits kind of home. You know what I mean? Because like people take one look at me, and they automatically think I'm Hispanic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't Puerto Rican, something.
Right.
Indian, Middle Eastern, something.
Not everything but black.
Everything but black.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
And this is now. I'm pretty sure you told me before, but you know, being black and white. My father's white. My mother's black. For those that don't know. I was always told, obviously, by the African American side of my family, that no, you are black. You're black and white. You're black.
You're black.
You're black and Puerto Rican.
You're
black.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't really know where I mean, I guess I know where it comes from. But, you know, that's what I identify as. Yes, I am black and white. But at the end of the day, that is part of my history, too.
It is.
You know, that's part of my family's history, too. So I don't want to seem like I'm dragging it or anything or like trying to go too deep with it, but in 2024,
we're still fighting battles like this.
It's the same thing.
And we're supposed to be a changed nation.
It's the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm sure they would say, oh, any other holiday, we would do the same thing. No, you wouldn't.
You would not.
No, you wouldn't.
No.
Not something that is new. Like it was newly instated as a holiday within the past few months.
Yeah.
You know, hey, you know, we've come to an agreement. We'll give you off on this day with pay.
Right.
Now, all of a sudden, because all these businesses aren't going to close and we need the money, we don't want to lose the work, you know, you can't have off now. It's just crazy to me.
It's ridiculous.
It's crazy to me to hear it go on anywhere. It doesn't matter where. I just think there's no room for that.
There's none. I agree 100%. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't even have nothing to add. You said everything about that. It's just really sad that we still have to deal with all that stuff, you know. Going from but you would think things would change going from the Black Lives Matter movement to everything that happened with the Capitol being stormed and all that, and seeing that
anniversary just passed It was this past Saturday. I didn't hear a thing about it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. But I brought that up to say, like, you see how big the Black Lives Matter movement and everyone was speaking up and saying things need to change and everyone was marching and all of this, and then, you know,
Well,
all these different big channels were putting it up there and making it known that they
the
support
bad
Black lives.
listen, the bad thing though about Black Lives Matter is obviously not everybody was there for the best intentions.
Oh no.
Even Black Lives Matter, the lady who founded it, or don't quote me on this, but the lady who founded it or like was a co-founder of it, the creator of BLM was caught taking massive amounts of money from the organization to fund her own life, to fund her expenses, to buy a big house and properties and all this nonsense. You know what I mean? It was like a cash grab for her. Maybe it started out as, you know, good intentions, but no, she got jammed up.
Okay, well, I mean, like, not to say that
Then
she
you have all
wasn't
the
supposed
people
to, she wasn't supposed
rioting and stuff.
Well, not to say she wasn't supposed to use the money for her life, but what was she supposed to use the money for?
To fund protests.
So she didn't use it at all for that?
I'm not sure what money was allocated where, but I know a large amount of it. You know, let's just say they raised $150 million in whatever time frame. I don't know. You know, like over half of that she was taking for herself.
I don't see nothing wrong with that.
What?
I don't see any. If everything that you're using for the campaign is being covered, why can't you?
Not necessarily. Not. Oh, my back is up.
No.
Not necessarily. Oh, this side's out too. Lordy, sorry, everybody. Not that.
I don't particularly see anything wrong with that.
Okay, that's like Bishop Hargrove.
If I created a movement for Black,
but it's not you. It's not just about you. Just because you
I get that. I get that. If I created a movement and I was the person that said Black Lives Matter, and that was a quote that I copyrighted or however they do it, whatever, and I got paid with all of that, I would still work to continue to keep Black Lives Matter going in the organization and all those things. But in that, you become wealthy with that. No?
No, it's a nonprofit.
Is it? See, I didn't know that. I'm thinking she was getting paid for people using her quote.
No.
No? Because like channels like Disney was using Black Lives Matter, multiple streams of television was, CNN.
All right, let's see. I'm trying to find. Black Lives Matter finances are under scrutiny again. Tax documents show the nonprofit is on the brink of bankruptcy. Following the murder of George Floyd in 2020, supporters donated a staggering $90 million to Black Lives Matter. The nonprofit ended last fiscal year with a $9 million deficit. Federal filings from 2020 to 2022 show just a third, $30 million of the $90 million went to other charitable organizations, with $22 million going to expenses. This includes $1.6 million that went to the father of BLM co-founder Patrisse Cullors for security services. $1.6 million for security services. Another $2.1 went to the Black Lives Matter board member, whoever Bowers, for consulting. $2.1 million for this lady for consulting.
Okay, so she definitely fudged her numbers. I mean,
Cullors left BLM leadership in
how
2021.
How much do you pay? Do you pay bodyguards?
After documents revealed she spent millions on luxury homes in Los Angeles and Georgia. she's saying there's so many lies that destroyed her life. BLM has been highly criticized by families of victims they used to fundraise. Breonna Taylor, is that how you say her name?
Breonna Taylor.
Breonna Taylor. Breonna Taylor's mother referred to the organization as a fraud in a Facebook post. Tamir Rice's mother told the New York Post, "They are benefiting off the blood of our loved ones, and they won't even talk to us."
Wow.
It don't sound good. Is that about to fall?
Yes.
No, leave it down. Leave it down. I'm not gonna
You keep knocking it, and
No.
it's okay.
All right. Yeah, it ain't good.
It ain't
That
good.
ain't good. 1.6
All
million.
right, I take back what I said. I didn't know all that stuff. Like, wow,
Yeah,
you're not
no,
even
it's
helping
shady.
the families that are still being affected by.
Not like they should.
police
$2.1
brutality?
million for consulting.
Yeah.
What consulting? Gets paid $2.1 million.
Are these lawyers or what is that?
I don't know. Consulting. That's all it says.
That is a hefty penny.
And you think if you'd be taking care of the families, they wouldn't have
Shucks.
anything bad to say to the
right.
New York Post or whoever
Right.
else on social media.
Right.
But they sure do.
They have a lot, and it's people who are well known.
I don't know. That ain't right.
Mm-mm.
What did we get on that for?
Oh, I was saying,
They wasn't doing right.
they wasn't. No, I was saying it's crazy how we're still here dealing with the mess that we're dealing with the MLK Day when
Yeah.
we went through all that. But yeah, we got
Sure.
sidetracked.
Yeah. We got people not acting. So, right. But that's one half of the BLM thing. The other half of it is people associating Black Lives Matter movement with the nonsense and the rioting and the looting that's going on. That's just pure nonsense and craziness. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, from both ends, it's getting hit.
But no, okay, no, I don't want to say it. No,
What?
no, because then it's gonna become like something political.
Sorry.
Yeah. Let's move on.
Okay, what? I just said what you had to say.
Don't put it in here, though.
It's going to be in there.
No, I don't want this part to be in here
Why?
because I don't want it to be political, and we're trying to
What?
stay
Are you
going to
bring up something about Trump?
Yes,
What?
because how is it that I'm not saying that looting and rioting is okay because it's absolutely wrong, but people who raided the Capitol were labeled as patriotic
Mm-hmm.
and American, and they were just as violent, storming into the Capitol.
Number one, let me just start by saying this. I don't know enough about politics, which is why I never want to bring it up on this thing.
Well, we're not
because
gonna keep that in there. Okay.
well, it's gonna stay.
No, Brand. No, not with me saying not to keep it in there. You're gonna still keep it in there.
I'm gonna keep you saying not to keep it in there, still keep it in there, and still keep it in. So shut up. Making it worse.
Just don't do it.
What was I saying?
I don't even know.
I don't think that's entirely true that everybody thinks that they were patriotic. I think the people who are most like-minded, like the nuts that stormed the Capitol, may think that they are.
Yeah, but you didn't hear a
But
huge uproar about them doing that.
Yeah, I think it was kind of a big deal.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I don't remember it being as big of a deal as them commenting on the people who were looting and
Well, it's never going to be as big of a deal when a black person's doing it.
yeah.
It's automatic.
Right.
So, had that been a bunch of black people storming the Capitol, which I don't think
They
any
wouldn't
black people would have done in the first place.
They wouldn't have made it that far.
Yeah. Not only would they not have made it that far, that don't sound like
We
I
wouldn't.
can hear Dave Chappelle now. That don't sound like no black people stuff.
No.
So, yeah. But in all seriousness, though, on this getting close to MLK Day, which will be released a few days before, it is quite crazy to still see nonsense. And I'm sure the reason why I brought this up is about this company that took the holiday away from its employees. I'm sure it's not because, oh, it's MLK Day. Oh, we can't. This,
They weren't doing it to be
it's
malicious.
not right, exactly.
Right. They
But
just,
it's just like
it's
of
a
all
principle.
the holidays,
Right.
for y'all to start acting funny,
They
you pick
this one.
Martin Luther King.
Yeah, it's just the principle behind it. Like, you didn't fight for your employees to have this day off, but you would have fought for them to have any other holiday off if this was to occur.
So I think the point of all this is, don't forget your past. Don't forget what you came from. It's important. Things are the way they are for a reason. Let's not forget that.
Yes.
Fight for what's right, I guess.
Yes. Always. Always.
On the eve of this Martin Luther King Day, fight for what's right.
So what are you going to do what would you do if you were in that position?
What do you mean?
If you were like in a position where you had to decide to take off or to go to work, what would you do?
I guess armed with the knowledge that I have now, I wouldn't go.
Okay.
But I wouldn't. I don't know. I don't know what I would do. Like I said, I was torn between would I call out, would I take the personal, would I make a big fuss about it, would I just stay quiet? I don't know. But I do know one thing for sure is it's not right.
No.
It's 2024. People, come on.
I think we say that. I think we say that every year at this point. Like, come on, it's 2022.
Because you would expect.
Y'all still doing this? Come on, it's 2023.
And you know what?
Still doing this? Come on, now it's 2024.
The thing is, though, the civil rights era wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, that's why we're still dealing with it.
It wasn't that long ago, right? So you would expect for things to be so much different.
Yeah.
But we're not so far from that time.
Yeah.
Where black people couldn't XYZ with whites.
Yeah.
With whiteys. I could say that because I'm half white.
I don't think you can say that.
Sure, why not?
Oh, goodness.
It's, in all seriousness, no. It really wasn't that long ago.
Mm-hmm.
And you think back, it wasn't that long ago at all. So it's not surprising that people still don't get it. People still don't care. It's not surprising at all. That it doesn't mean anything.
It's not surprising, but it's sad.
But at the same time, I feel like, you know what? In a way, you know what? MLK Day is not for everybody.
It's not.
It's not. Because they don't care.
They don't understand.
They don't care.
Yeah.
Not everybody does. So, you know what? That's fine. Don't care. It's not for you.
Mm.
It's not for you.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
I never thought about it like
we'll
that.
use it. We'll use it to as our day of remembrance or whatever, our day of service or whatever we do.
Mm.
Day of recognition to those in the community.
Same for Juneteenth.
Juneteenth, don't even get me started.
Yeah.
Somebody said today the only place that Juneteenth matters is Texas.
What?
This is what I'm saying. This is what the craziness that I'm talking about. They got no idea. They don't care. Half of them don't even know what Juneteenth is. You got to tell them what's Juneteenth. I don't even know what it is, but I know I got off of work or some crap like that. You know what I mean?
All right, let's move on. Move on.
That's it. We could be done with it.
Wow.
Yeah. That's why it kind of hits hard. It hits home hard for me even though I'm younger and I don't look, I look Guatemalan or something.
West
It-
Indian.
It still hits home hard because you are surrounded and you witness all of that ignorance,
Yeah. Yeah.
all of that ignorance just
Yeah.
being passed around.
Yep.
Nobody cares.
Mm.
So, it makes me want to care
Yeah.
more just for that very reason alone. You know what I mean? Not only is it important to remember and everyone's sacrifices that came before, which I think is also a good use for MLK Day. Not to remember not just MLK and all his sacrifices, but everybody else too during the civil rights era. Even before that, who sacrificed, who had to endure. You know what I mean? For us to be here where we are today. I think that's what the importance is. And again, that doesn't mean something to everybody, and it's okay. It doesn't have to.
Yeah.
But for those that it means something to, let them have off of work. What are we doing? What are we doing? Let them have off of work. It's nonsense.
Complete.
Now, never mind. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yep,
Because
yep.
I'm about to start drawing.
Yeah. I can tell.
Yeah. So, with that being said, hey, let us know what you think. Thanks for tuning in
Yes.
for another episode. Let us know what you think about it. And I guess we'll see you next week.
See you next
Right
week.
here on the YouTube page. For those that are listening, you can catch the video www.youtube.com/CCUMBC media. You click right on the podcast videos right on the homepage there. All right. Yeah. See you next week.
See you
Thanks.
next week.
Bye.